There we go. Now we're cooking with fuel. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if anybody pops on. If you do pop on, go ahead and comment, say hi. Uh, then I'll kind of give you a rundown of our case for tonight. So we got the video uploaded of finalizing the Bardstown cases. You go watch those. Most recent one, when David was uploading the video and putting it all together, he picked up on something that was of interest. Don't worry, we've reported it. We've done everything we needed to do. It may or may not be anything, but I should check out that video because it's pretty interesting. So tonight we are going to discuss a missing person out of Louisville. Her name is Andrea Knabel. She's been missing since 2019, and we'll go over the timeline and everything here. So she worked pretty closely with, and we'll go over more about her, but she worked pretty closely with finding missing people in Louisville, Kentucky. My understanding, she had a friend that went missing when they were younger, kind of sparked her interest in getting involved with missing people. So right now, here's another picture. She was 37 years old. She had 2 children when she disappeared. Andrea was an active member of Missing in America out of Louisville. It focused on finding missing people. Family says she had a big heart. She was always willing to help others. They said she loved her kids. She was an amazing daughter, amazing sister, amazing mother, friend. Here's a description of her. I'm not sure why my slide got messed up there. So she was 37 at the time of her disappearance. She's about 5'7", approximately 190 pounds. Brown hair, hazel eyes, no tattoos, no body piercings, except for her ears. Her ears are pierced. Some interesting tidbits. Her cell phone was never found. Her credit cards and debit cards have never been used. Been no solid leads or tips to help determine where she could be. The LMPD, or the Louisville Metro Police, they do have possession of her laptop and her social media accounts. So that was something they're going to look into, or they did look into. They said she was struggling to get back on her feet. She suffered some financial hardships. Even some reports that she may have turned to drugs or was, having some mental health issues. The family was trying to get her to get some help when she disappeared. She was a Missing America volunteer. As far as they know, it had nothing to do with her disappearance. Like, she didn't work undercover or anything to that nature. because at that point, when she went missing, she wasn't actively investigating or working on a missing person case. So I'm going to kind of go over a little timeline. In December of 2017, she got laid off from her job as an analyst for Humana. Uh, as a result, she lost her home that she was renting. She moved in with her mom. And January 23rd, 2019, she had a car accident. Her car was totaled at a hit and run. So she then, of course, she lost her home. Now she's lost her car. She created a GoFundMe to try to raise money to get a new car. On January 23rd, Andrea, that was on January 23rd that she started the GoFundMe. She was just going through a rough time. Life had just thrown a bunch of bricks at her, and she was just doing her best to get back on her feet. August the 12th, 2019, early in the evening, she got into a disagreement with her sister, Sarah. They were having dinner, but Sarah was unhappy with the choices that Andrea was making at the time. So Andrea went upstairs, just kind of cool off. Her mom's house was undergoing some renovations, so her mother was not living in that home during that time. Andrea was the only one living in the home at the time. Her sister, Sarah, her fiance, Ethan, and her sister, Sarah, and her fiance, Ethan Bates, were also living in the home. Sorry, I said that wrong. From my understanding, Sarah and Ethan were helping with the renovations. Andrea's father offered to pay for rehab, but she would get upset if anyone brought it up or suggested that she was even using drugs. It was agreed that she would see a dermatologist for the condition on her face and a therapist. See, she's a beautiful young lady. Hi, Caroline. August 2019. This is August. This is a layout of events that led up to her disappearance. On August 12th, we're going to talk about the timeline for August the 12th. At 9:01, she leaves her mom's house. According to Andrea's phone data, hold on. Or according to her sister, and then she left her mom's house. Then that was according to her cell phone data, her mom's cell phone data, or Andrea's cell phone data that she left her mom's house. So then at 9:07, she goes to McDonald's with her nephew. According to the phone data, she leaves McDonald's with her nephew and sister's fiance at 9:40. At 9:50, Andrea goes to the hospital. Bates, who is her sister's fiance, dropped her off at the Kentucky One Medical Center for treatment of the injuries that were from her skin condition. So it's a note. I mean, as you see her now, they said that she could have some scarring now on her face from this. She left the hospital 11:22 p.m. She called Lyft to take her home or back to her mom's house after treatment. She was given a Lyft gift card, but it was not working, so she had to pay for it herself. 11:34 p.m. she arrived at her mother's home. And I'm going to pull up a map here in a few minutes, and I'll kind of show you guys how close everything is so you can understand the timelines. Um, so she arrives back at 11:34, but she can't get in because she doesn't have a key. So she decides to go to her sister's house, Erin. Like I said, when I pull up the map, you're going to kind of see how close everything is. So this was at midnight. Excuse me. This was at midnight on which would be August the 13th. So she couldn't enter the house, so she walks over a mile to her sister Erin's house, who is very actively involved in this case and looking for her sister. In an interview with Incognito Society, Erin said that she does not recall if she took a lift or walked to her house. Erin was said she was sitting on her porch. She was facing another direction, and she didn't see if a car pulled up or not. So apparently, at that point, she left and went back to her mom's house. I don't have an exact timeline for that, but at 1:38 a.m., it says that she returned to Erin's house. She asked to stay at Erin's house because no one was answering the door at her mom's, and she's still upset, from all the disagreement she had with her sister Sarah. Um, so, but Erin told her no. So she walked back again to her mom's house again. Erin had just kind of moved to the area and she was trying to set some boundaries, and I'm sure if she thought her sister was maybe in addiction or using, she may not have didn't want that in her home, which you can't blame her. So about 1:54 a.m., Andrea gets back to her mom's house for the third time. Uh, According to the phone records, Andrea's phone was active at her mom's house. Her phone then shut off. So, for the original timeline that was through WDRB, which is a news station, it's assumed that Andrea was not let into the home because Sarah and Ethan were sleeping. But when they were interviewed, they claimed they were awake but didn't let her in because they were fearful because she was upset. At 10:30 a.m., family, this was still on the 13th, still had not heard from her. So Cheryl, her mom, texts her family asking, "Hey, have you heard from Andrea?" Erin starts texting Andrea's friends to see if they've even heard from her. We get to August 17th, sometime during the day on the 17th, 4 days after her last contact with her family. Erin, her sister, filed a missing persons report on her and contacts a private investigator, Tracy Leonard, tried to help with the search. Schaefer Smith is the person that contacted that. I'm not quite sure who that is. As you can see, we're kind of getting through a long timeline of events leading up to her disappearance. So here's some possible sightings and some suspicious activity that was reported. On October of 2019, there was a possible sighting of her around the Clarksville, New Albany, Jeffersonville area, and all those are right there together. And they're just right across the bridge from Louisville, so it's not that big. It wouldn't be that far. It's not like she went like hundreds of miles. It's literally a bridge takes you across to those three little areas. Then on November the 27th, there was some suspicious activity. There's a car that could just keep passing by Erin's house. So Erin's family did notice it. It was a Chevy Impala. It was believed to be a 2004, 2005 model. Had a license plate of 637ZLA. I'm assuming it was a Kentucky plate. It didn't specify. So it was seen repeatedly driving back and forth past Erin's house. They did say the windows were tinted. It was a thin white male that was driving, and a thin white woman was in the passenger seat. When the plates were ran by authorities, the car came back as stolen. So the police never recovered that vehicle. It hadn't been found. It was later determined that it was a drug dealer that Andrea had allegedly owed money. And we say allegedly because we don't have Andrea here to tell us. So January 18, 2020, a prayer vigil is held for Andrea. In January 2020, a prayer vigil is held in Andrea's honor by family and friends. When the service was over, attendees did walk down Chickadee Road, which is the road where Andrea was last seen, before turning around and heading back to the church where this was going, where the vigil was held. There was some remains found on January 21st, but they were later proven not to be Andrea's. So I'm going to leave this here for just a second. There's a reward. There is a contact for the LMPD. There's a family tip line. The family, just anything that you have, any sightings you may have, anything, they ask that you please, please, please report that information. So she's described as 5'7", weighs approximately 180, 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Her ears are pierced, which I specified that earlier, and she could have the scarring on her face. Erin, Andrea's sister, her father, Michael, are still actively advocating for Andrea, and they conduct frequent searches. I'm going to leave this screen up for you guys so you can see. If you have any any information, contact Louisville Metro Police, Missing Persons Division, and those numbers are posted right here for you, 502-574-7120. And there's a $10,000 reward, and then there's an anonymous tip line as well. The family would appreciate any tips that you can give. It's pretty important. I mean, she's been missing since 2019. So I said I would pull up the map for you guys so I can kind of show you all along with the timeline. Give me a second here. I didn't have that ready. For some reason, I'm doing these cases because these people are missing. We don't know what happened to them. There's no anything that gives any inkling of what could have happened. And the families, in any of these cases I do, the family just wants closure. They want to find their daughter or their son or whoever the case may be. So let me share the map and kind of show you guys. Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to turn this one off for just a minute, just so I can kind of show y'all. Hold on, the time. Let me get this lined up. I want this. Pop-ups are a pain. So as I click on the timeline, you're going to be able to see. This is where Cheryl lived. I'm going to close this so you can do. That's Cheryl and Sarah Knabel's home. And Andrea's mother's home, but Sarah was living there and Cheryl was living elsewhere while the house was going under construction. That's the red. So what you see in red right there. That is where she was living. Now we're going to hop into, there's McDonald's, which is now in red. When I click on them and they turn red, that's the location that we're talking about. So we're looking at not very far at all. I mean, from the house to, I mean, if we zoom in, here, let me do it this way. Well, let me show you real quick. Hess Lane, there's the house. Like, it's just a few blocks down. There's McDonald's. Then it says she goes to the hospital, which I have to zoom back out for that one. That's up here. She was driven there by her brother-in-law and dropped off there. No suspicions there because she was seen after that. So just making that clear that she was seen after that before any speculation start. So now she's back at her mom's. So now we're going to go to Aaron's house, which is right here. So here's her mom. Here's Aaron. It's approximate location. It's not the exact. Well, she was last seen walking away from that area back to her mom's house. And it says again at 1:38, she returned to this area. I'm assuming she was seen by Aaron. She talked to Aaron. That's when she talked to Aaron. Is when she went back and asked Aaron if she could stay there, and Aaron basically told her she couldn't stay there tonight. Then she goes back to her mom's house again. That's the third time. Her phone was active according to the phone records, at 3:53 a.m. Her phone was active at her mom's house, and then that's when it shut off. And this is where the car is driving past. It's somewhere in this area. The car, that gold Impala. And here's the church where the prayer vigil was held. So the people after the prayer vigil walked from here to, I guess just in her honor, maybe in hopes that they would find her. So that kind of gives you a rundown of the map of McDonald's, her home, the church, Aaron's house. And of course, the hospital was up here, the Kentucky One Medical Center. So everything's kind of right there in that general area. There is a Facebook page set up. Where is Andrea Knabel? Andrea's sister Erin also has a page called Andrea's Angels. These are all something that her sister is, pretty much heading up and making sure. Now, just a little over a week ago, there was a possible sighting. I have not seen any updates, and if I get any, I'll definitely, as always, I will hop on and do a short and kind of give you that update. There was a possible spotting in Indianapolis. The lady said that the girls looked like Andrea. They said her name. She said her name was Andrea. Uh, so there is, when I get out of it, there was proof that an ambulance took a lady to the hospital, just like was reported by this lady that reported the tip. And because of HIPAA and everything, they can't get any information from the hospital as far as condition or anything. The girl said that she had a headache. Just there's been nothing. From my understanding, her dad was going to go to Indianapolis and check the area where they said she was spotted. Uh, so just kind of like Aaron and Andrea they share the same birthday. Uh, so every year on their birthday or around their birthday, they do have a celebration in Andrea's honor. If I'm not mistaken, that was January the 2nd. Was that? But here in just a second, I'm going to pull up a video for you guys. Give me a second. The video that I'm getting ready to share with you guys. Oh, hold on here. Get back to where I need to be. The video that I'm going to share with you is an interview with her father. Pull it up full screen for you guys. So for a minute, I'm going to turn my camera off for a second so y'all can pay attention and listen. It's about about almost 3 minutes. And
you are always welcome to come home and know that you will be loved.
A powerful message from Mike Knabel to his daughter Andrea today on her 42nd birthday, another birthday spent wondering and searching. Andrea Knabel has been missing for 4.5 years. She was last seen on the night of August 13th, 2019, leaving her sister's home. Years of questions are left unanswered. I sat down with her father, Mike, who made it very clear that the family will not give up hope that Andrea will come back home.
This is still ongoing, and who knows where this could go.
An experience no father should ever have to endure.
Needless to say, it is a cruel, violent roller coaster emotionally.
Spending their daughter's 42nd birthday wondering and searching.
If there's any chance of finding her still, we are going to risk doing whatever it takes.
Mike Knabel now left with more questions than answers. Andrea Knabel, his daughter, was last seen August 13th, 2019, leaving her sister's house in Audubon Park. Years later, her family's hope has never wavered.
Sometimes you feel foolish because you know what the percentages are when someone is gone this amount of time that are found. And but we have no evidence whatsoever that violence has occurred. And so we hold out hope. You retreat somewhat inside yourself, into your family, for strength.
Hope and family keeps the Knabels searching. Just this week, Mike tells WHAS 11 that he received a tip from a man in Indianapolis saying he saw a woman who looked like Andrea and who called herself Andrea. The Indianapolis man says the woman was in distress and was taken to the hospital. Mike took matters into his own hands, calling the Louisville Missing Persons Unit, reaching out to LMPD and the Indianapolis Police Department to see if this lead could lead him to his daughter.
You know, this has happened dozens of times, and you don't know if it's true. And to this point, you expect it not to be true, but you know you have to follow through. I mean, what if it is?
Now, Mike is left waiting.
We've been waiting for 4.5 years.
Saying he'll continue to do what he's done since 2019. Hope.
We hope somebody out there can give us that piece of information that can help detectives bring her home.
The community can help bring Andrea home. If you have any information on where she could be, you're asked to call the Family Tip Line at 502-806-4840 or LMPD's anonymous tip line at 502-574-7120.
You guys, I mean, what parent wouldn't go out searching? I mean, any tip that comes in, I mean, I know as a parent, every tip that you get, you're going to follow it. You want to follow up on it. You want to, because you don't know if this is your child. Could it be someone that just coincidentally looked like Andrea that had the same name as Andrea? You know, we don't really know. And as a parent, you're gonna go out looking. I mean, that's just what we do as parents. You don't want to think anything happened. And so they have not seen any. There's been no body recover. There's been nothing. And I want to go back here for a minute. I've got that number up for you guys, but I want to share. I want to keep her face up here for you guys. I'm trying to see which one. This one right here. That's a little bit of an older. Obviously, you got to think the last picture they would have would have been in 2019. So she's changed probably a little bit in 4.5 years. I mean, she went from. 4 years is a long time to go missing and not have some kind of change in your appearance. You know, as far as they know, there's been no foul play. You know, like I said, the family just is looking for answers. And there's just so many cold cases out there that need to be brought back to light. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. For you guys, I want to bring these voices out. I want to speak. I mean, hence the vanished voices. They've just vanished. Somebody needs to be their voice. Yes, the family is voicing. They're talking about her. They're sharing on the Facebook page. As far as what I've seen on the Where is Andrea Knabel Facebook page, Erin is very actively involved in not only searching for her sister, but following in her sister's footsteps and is actively, not necessarily, I don't know that she's out searching, but she's actively involved with sharing photos and sharing information and trying to get other pictures and voices out there. You know, it's kind of important to the family, any family, if their loved one's missing, they want someone to bring light to the situation or keep their pictures out there, keep their voices out there. Make sure too, when you share, if you share this, you share her picture. If you go to the Facebook page, please go support them on their Facebook page. You know, let them know that you're thinking of them, whatever it is that you believe. always share with hashtag where is Andrea Knabel. That's the hashtag they use for her all the time. That way they can be seen. Share. The more shares, it doesn't matter where you're at. Like I said, she went missing from Louisville. There was a possible sighting in Indianapolis. Granted, nothing has come of that yet. Doesn't mean it's not true. That very well could be Andrea. And from what I've read, her father said, if it's Andrea and they find her, they may just be told they'll do whatever they can to convince her to come home. But she's an adult and they can't force her to come home. Now, what I haven't seen yet, and I have looked and looked and looked and looked, and I can't find anything. I don't know at that point where the children were. I'm not quite sure. Not sure where they were. They obviously they weren't with they weren't with Andrea. It was never mentioned that they were with her. And I'm still looking and says she was 37 when she disappeared. So the boys, she had two boys at that time. They were 6 and 8 at the time. So they're 10 and 12 now. Like I said, even if I had their names, I wouldn't be putting their names out here because they are still minors. But know that she still has relatively young children, not babies, but they're still young. I mean, 10 and 12, they're still young. They still need their mom. So, I mean, even this is, if Andrea happens to run across this, you share this, Andrea sees it, maybe, you never know. I know Andrea's family they miss her terribly. I did read that Sarah and Ethan are not actively involved with the searching for her. I'm not quite sure the reasoning for that. At all. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if I can find that. I don't think it really ever said why Sarah and Ethan are not actively involved. I don't know if maybe they just sorry, just trying to find it. You just don't know. You don't know. Maybe it's just too heartbreaking for her sister to be involved. Maybe sister thinks, and this is just maybes. I'm not speaking for her sister whatsoever. Only she can speak for herself. But there's a lot of reasonings why possibly maybe she not involved. Maybe she just feels. So the boys were living in the home with Andrea. I did find that information. Cheryl would stop in every evening with them. The last time somebody actually had eyes on her, though, would have been the early morning hours of August the 13th when she left Aaron's home. I mean, she was visibly upset. They had trying to get her to rehab. They was trying to get her into get help. I mean, she was taken to the Kentucky One Medical Center for it was a rash on her face that had been ongoing. So yeah, Aaron's home was approximately 1.5 miles. And it says that she took a shortcut near a walking bridge. I'm not sure if she said that, if that's what she told Aaron, or if someone spotted her. It's not stated that anybody's seen her, but and it did say that when Andrea got at Aaron's home, she was clearly upset because she had just had a fight with her sister, Sarah, Ethan, and her mom, I'm assuming. It says, so Andrea kind of felt like she was being ganged up on, like nobody was listening to her. They were all picking fights with her. Obviously, we know as parents that they probably just wanted to get her help and they wanted to make sure she did that to be safe. But it says Erin did try to console her sister, and she drove her back to her mom's house, hoping the situation would blow over. So it says despite Erin driving her over there, that this was at 1:34 a.m., Andrea still didn't have a key to the home. She still couldn't get in. It says that Sarah and Ethan were inside sleeping, but of course, when they interviewed Sarah and Ethan, they said they weren't sleeping. They just wasn't going to let her in. So that's what prompted her to go back a second time to Aaron's house. That's when she asked if she could sleep over. Erin had to work the next day. Her home was under renovation at the time, too. Her children were sleeping downstairs. This it was a difficult conversation because I think she said that she looked out and seen Andrea scrolling on her phone outside and that her temperament seemed more composed. Like I said, she left the final time around 1:34 per the cell phone data and right back around 1:54. It took her about 20 minutes to walk that 1.5 miles. So, like I said, even hours later at 3:51, her phone pinged around her mom's house. And that's the last known activity that proved that she was alive near the home. And so she was last seen, of course, it's been 4.5 years. So obviously she's not going to be wearing this and it's wintertime. But she was last seen, just in case something rings a bell from that night, she was wearing a light colored tank top, white shorts, and light colored Nike shoes. So that kind of, like I said, if you remember something that stands out, maybe that would be from that time frame. If you was in the Louisville area, the Ahmed Park area, on August 2019, specifically August the 12th or 13th of 2019. If you remember seeing her walking, if you remember seeing her get into a vehicle with somebody, anything, just let the family know. Call in to that family tip line, call it into the LMPD. I can't stress enough how important that small detail may be. She is registered in the missing persons database. So the important people to remember in this case is Andrea herself. She's the victim. Michael Knabel, Mike, who's her father. Cheryl Knabel is her mother. Erin Knabel is her sister. And you had Sarah Knabel and Ethan, her sister and her sister's fiance. I said she was going through a tough time. She got laid off from work. She lost her home, lost her car. So she was under a lot of stress. Uh, there's also a GoFundMe. I'm not sure if it is still active or not. Where is Andrea Knabel? I'm going to check and see if yes. And it is still an active. Now, this is Erin. Erin's a little sister. So this was created. Erin created this. I'm trying to see when she actually created this. October 13th of 2021. I will make sure. I'm going to share this. I'll put it in the description for you guys. I'll make sure to add this in for you guys when I get back to it. If anybody's watching, do you all have any thoughts on this? Do you remember reading the case? It also, let me see. Yeah, the Facebook page is Where is Andrea Knabel? And I'll also put that in the comment and the description for you guys as well. So the funds raised, this is what the money's used. It buys and laminates her missing posters, signs, billboards, t-shirts. It helps fund searches, cover costs of professionals like private investigators or whatever. It help increase the reward. And it also helps with her two sons recover financially. Any remaining will be used to provide the children for the children and to provide for endangered women causes. So they have a $500,000 goal. They're not even. They're at 3,631 right now. So, like I said, if you know anything, heard anything, so put this up here. If you even send me an email, I will make sure it gets to the family. I have a Facebook page where I share all my videos. I'll be sharing pictures. Still working on building. I mean, we've got it set up. We're still sharing. David runs that for me most of the time for me. While I'm at work, he takes care of that, making sure to post stuff. While I'm working, it's very helpful. But Vanished Voices is mine. Where is Andrea Knabel is hers. Share with the hashtag Where is Andrea Knabel. Again, I'm going to put it here again. I'm trying to leave it on these screens long enough for you to jot down the number, screenshot, whatever it is you need to do. Like I said, I will put the GoFundMe in the description or in the comments per se when I'm finished here. I don't know. I am looking into so many other cases. There's so many unsolved cold cases out there. So I haven't decided which one I'm going to do next, and I'll probably do a video and not go live on that one this week. Our goal is to try to get on a schedule and get videos out a couple times a week, and then try to do a live once a week and cover a case. I wanted to do Andrea's just because her birthday just was recent, and because that tip it came in from Indianapolis just not too long ago. So I wanted this to be fresh in people's memories, fresh in their minds. Probably anytime I do a live, I'll do most of the lives. I'm going to try to do more recent cases. Not sure yet on which one. Like I said, there's people go missing every day. So, and again, if you have a case that you think is worth me getting their name out there for the family, for friends, or whatever, it can be a friend, it can be family. I showed you my contact information. Send it to me, comment, leave it in the comments. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you continue to get updates whenever I do a update with my short, which I do. I have already done a couple on another cases that I've done. Like, subscribe, and please share where with hashtag where is Andrea Knabel. And I said, I want to hear what you all think. I want you all to join the conversations, trying to get more people to get involved, trying to get you all to, let's talk about these cases. Let's talk about these people. Let's get their names out there. And that's all I have. I'm going to do one last thing here. I'm just looking to see. I want to see what our most recent. Okay, we've got. I'm just trying to find the most recent one to kind of share with you. All of them are important. I mean, obviously they're all important. So this looks like to be the most recent one. Just real quick. And I'm just going to share it with you guys so you can just see. She's missing from, she's 13. Not sure where that's at. Metropolitan Police Department. I got a couple more minutes, so I'm just going to share a couple of these with you guys. Just kind of put their faces out there. This is something that was very important to Andrea. It's been important to her sister. The picture is not the greatest, but she's 13. She's been missing since December the 28th, 2023. Nevaeh Ariana is described as a black female, 5'3", tall, 130 pounds, light complexion, brown eyes, black hair. She was last seen wearing a black puffer coat, black Uggs, boots, black sweater, black pants, and a pink camouflage headscarf. And then we have this one was on 12/26. Metropolitan Police Department again. This is DC. These are in DC. Washington, DC. So it doesn't hurt if you have an opportunity, even if it's just for your local area, Google search, missing from your state, your town. Once a week, share somebody that's missing. Share it with us. We'll put it on the Facebook page. Like I said, I was going to go live last night and do one of a little 4-year-old that went missing. 4-year-old autistic boy. Luckily, and thank goodness, he was found and he was found safe. So I postponed my live tonight so I could do Andrea. Felt like, and nothing. I was gonna still do the video for Andrea and just get that out for you guys because I felt like that 4-year-old had only been missing since Friday, so that was kind of important. Try to get his information out there, but he was found and he was alive and he's safe. So thank gosh I did not have to do that, and I'm able to do this and get Andrea's case out there for you guys. So that's all I have for you guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get any updates.